Hello, students. I just want to go over the first essay assignment. The letter of introduction will be due really soon. Although I'm calling this a letter, it is a letter, it counts as essay number one, your first formal assignment for the semester. So what I want you to do in this letter is to tell me about yourself. I want you to write a letter that's about 600 to 1200 words long. So that's two pages approximately, maybe a page and a half, depending on your font, to 4 pages. So let's take a look at the assignment. If we go to D2L here, let's start back at our home page. Whenever you have an assignment due, first of all, in content, I will post that assignment. So here's content. We're in weekly content for week 2. And underneath the explanation of all the work that's due, there's a link here and also a link here. They're both the same thing. Here's the assignment. What would you like me, your professor, to know about you as a writer and a researcher? The purpose of this assignment is to help you think critically about your strengths, weaknesses, and prior experiences in writing and in researching. By the way, this is called metacognition. Whenever you're engaging in thinking about your thinking, that's metacognition, and there's all kinds of research that shows that this is a really great way to improve your skills. So like if you're an athlete and you've ever had a coach after a game or a meet want to debrief with you or your team about what happened, how you did, that's a kind of metacognition too. We'll be doing this semester in this letter of introduction, in your process journal when your research gets underway, and then at the very end of the semester, you're going to be writing me another letter that reflects on what's changed, if anything, for the semester. So for now, I want you to tell me these 3 things. First, what kind of writer are you? What do you do well? What don't you do well? And what kind of researcher are you? What do you like about research? What don't you like about research? It is totally okay to be honest here. And remember that good writers don't simply say, I'm good at everything. I have no weaknesses. Instead, good experienced writers know very well what their weak areas are and they're able to talk about them. So I'm not wanting you to tell me that you don't have any weaknesses. I don't think that would be honest. We all know that we have weaknesses. Instead, I want you to be honest about what those are. So, for example, my weakness is that I want everything to be perfect the first time. I have a hard time letting my guard down and writing a decent draft and going back and fixing it later. And then I end up with writer's block and I get frustrated. So I might talk about that. Okay, so that's number 1 and 2. And then number 3, I want you to narrate a recent research experience for school. If you really can't come up with one for school, then maybe a personal research experience. What I mean by that is to tell me what you researched and what kind of sources you found and how you found them. Okay, I want you to tell me about the process. I don't necessarily want you to focus on what you learned about your topic. So if you did a research paper on koala bears, I don't want you to tell me everything about koala bears. I can look that up. I want to know, where did you look? What were your best sources? What went well? What was frustrating? Where did you find the most success? What did you learn about research? Tell me about your process. And this will help me understand your background in research too. Okay, optional, you can tell me anything else that you think is relevant for this class. For example, if you're thinking about particular topics that you want to research, you can talk about that. What are you interested in as a student? Anything else you think I should know about you, you can include in this letter if you haven't already told me in your new student survey or your introduction post. Okay, so the deadline is on Thursday at 11:59 p.m. The late policy is that it's you lose 5% per day. So that's like a point and a quarter, which I'll round down a day. So the late penalty is small, but it really helps me if you can be on time so that I can organize my grading. In this class, whenever you need an extension, just ask in advance. Other details, again, be honest about this. Don't sugarcoat anything for my benefit. I want to know who you are as a writer and researcher. The length I touched on. The style, this is a personal essay, so obviously you should use pronouns like I. You can refer to me directly with you. You're writing for a college professor, so you want to make some effort to, have college level sentences and things like that, but you can have a more personal tone if you'd like. You don't need to cite any sources here, obviously, but if you use sources for some reason, you shouldn't need to, but if you do, cite them so you don't plagiarize. The submission assignments, there's the submission directions are here. And then the rubric is here as well. So when you submit this essay, what I'll do is I'll download your document and cut and paste the rubric and grade it and save it and upload it again to your assignments folder so that you can see my comments. So you'll want to go back to the assignment folder. So if you look back at where we were in week 2, I have a link to the Dropbox, or I will. It's not there yet. But you can always just go right to assessment, to assignments, and you'll see here a letter of introduction folder. And all you have to do is upload your file. Okay, what I want you to do is to save your file as a Word document. So if you're working in Google Docs, there's an option for you to save it as a Word document. Or you can download it as a Word document and upload it to D2L so that I can grade it. Okay. And the last thing I want to show you in this video under content is that there is a sample letter you can look at if you want, but don't obviously try to imitate it too carefully and accidentally plagiarize. You can see with this student, I think this is a she, they have the date, greeting, and then multiple focused paragraphs about the content that's assigned, and then at the end I deleted the student's name obviously, but there's a closing. This one's a little longer than the minimum. This is about 760 words, which I put there just so that you know how long it is. I like this because it's got a lot of really good details, so it gives me a strong sense of who this person is and what kind of experience they have. And again, because it's a personal letter, there's plenty of personal pronouns in there. So there you go. If you have any questions, email me. You can always ask on Q&A as well. And if you want any help, you can set up a virtual appointment. There's the link at the top of the syllabus. All right. I always like reading these letters because I like to get to know my students. So I hope that you have fun writing this. And I'll talk to you soon.